Hello, Exia here. Today I'm doing a deck profile on my discard dragon deck. I've took this to my locals and consistently got top four and a win as well. This is pre-Shenlong nerf, by the way. So, all right. With that being said, let's get started. First, we have three Bellringer Angel. Helps mitigate early game aggression from early decks, from aggro decks. Um, yeah, so you play this and it's a one cost 0/2 ward, and on last words you draw a card. So pretty good for again dealing with early game aggression. Next, have one Blazing Breath. Same thing. Um, does 2 damage to an opponent's follower. It's a quick. If you're on overflow, it does 4 damage. So you can use this both defensively and offensively, depending on when you're overflow or not. All right. What am I doing? All right. Next, we have three Dragonsong Flute. So this is the first half of the discard dragon deck. What it does is on Fanfare, pay 3, get a Hellflame Dragon token out, and then you draw 1. On Overflow, you can tap this to discard a card and bring a Hellflame Dragon to your EX area. So this will start initiating your discard mechanic once you're in Overflow. I'll get to the other card in just a moment, but so this is the first half of that mechanic. Next, we have two Dragontamer. This is just for proccing off the discard effect on a certain card that, again, we'll go over later on. Not playing the Evo on this deck because I don't think it's worth it, because I don't want to have to discard a card and then recover a Wormkin follower from my cemetery and put it on my hand to declare, oh, I have this card in hand. So this is just for the discard effect. Next, we have three Dragon Oracle, pretty self-explanatory. Dragon wants to ramp. This gets you there. Baby draw a card if you need it. Next, we have three Trail of Light. Again, because we are discarding cards, this helps replenish your hand size as well, so that way you're not just dumping cards from your hand and losing out on resources. So this helps keep your hand replenished whenever you proc off your discard effects. Next, we have three Dragon Warrior. On Evo, you can potentially hit 2 bodies for the price of 1, because what you do is on Evo, hit a body for 3 and then swing into it. So you could theoretically hit up to 2 bodies just for the price of 1. Next, we have 2 Serpent Wrath. It's good for hitting slightly bigger bodies, and if you're on Overflow, you also draw a card as well. So ideally, you want to save this for when you're in Overflow, so that way you can get the draw 1. But if you need to play it before Overflow, it's still pretty good. Next, we have 3 Dracomancer's Rites. This is the other half of the discard dragon deck. You discard a card, heal for 1, cool. But what we really care about is the second effect. Basically, whenever you discard a card, at any point during your turn, at the start of your end phase, that's keyword. You can choose to do 2 damage to an enemy follower or their leader. So why the keyword matters is because, so let's say you proc it off, right? And your opponent tries to execute it. They can't execute this until they take the damage first, because of sequencing, the way end phase works. More information on the rulebook, chapter 7.4.1. So, yeah. Next, we have one Path to Purgatory. This is I got the idea from Lord Inishi on Discord. So what it does is you draw 3 and take 3 damage, whatever. But the key thing is this kind of puts your opponent in check, so they don't just carelessly put you 6 or below life, because if they do, you can tap this and do 6 to their board. So it kind of gives you pseudo gives you an extra turn to try to answer your opponent's board, or maybe even turn the game around and go for the win. Next, we have 3 Fortes. You know her, you love her. Evo her for 2. That's guaranteed 7 damage on board. So, and if you have 2, you can swing for 10. Next, we have 2 Execution, mainly for the sword matchup to answer Leonidas, but this also comes up in the mirror match and wherever else applicable. But yeah, mainly for sword and a little bit of the mirror match. Next, we have 3 Shenlongs. Again, this is pre-Shenlong nerf, so of course we're still gonna play 3. Draw 2, discard 1, heal for 5. Does everything this deck needs. Next, we have 2 Dark Angel Olivia. It's a pretty solid card. Depending on when you play it, could be kind of mid or it could be really amazing. Because you draw 1, heal 3, cool. But if your opponent's hand size is like down to like 3 or something, and you make them discard a card, it kind of hurts pretty bad. Like I've done it multiple times before, and that was enough to eventually get me to win, just because they have to discard a card that they were holding off, and they get forced to discard thanks to Olivia. Like, hey, it'd be like that sometimes. All right, next. This is kind of weird, honestly. I do 1 Conflag and 1 Fafnir. Reason why I'm doing it this way is because I wanted to play 2 Conflags without actually playing 2 copies of Conflag, because I want the Conflag on a body. And Fafnir happens to do exactly that. And also because my deck is at 41 and I don't want to have 19 followers, 22 spells. It just looks kind of weird to me. So I decided, you know what? I'll play Fafnir and 1 Conflag. So I have 20 followers and 21 spells. Ended up working out for me somehow. So, can't really complain. But it does look weird. Like, I'm not going to lie. So, adjust, if you do decide to play this, which I kind of doubt it because Shenlong nerf is like right around the corner. But yeah. Alright, next we have Imperial Dragoon. Oh my god, this card is insane. So, if you already have this on hand and you already have 7 cards in hand, so you draw for turn, you have 8, and let's say your opponent's already down to 7 or below. 9 if you have at least 1 Rites. You dump this, dump your hand, do 7 damage to your opponent's board and their leader. And if they're 7 or below, that's game. If they're at 9, if you have provided you have Rites on the field, you dump this, you just pass turn, because at the start of end phase you just ping them for 2 damage and that's game. So again, if you have your opponent down low enough, you can just literally dump this and close out the game. They can't answer it. Next, we have 1 Bahamut. This is for also against sword, but slightly more to the mirror match, because it clears out all bodies on the board except for itself, and then on Evo, you clear out all other amulets on board. So for the mirror match, you clear out their Rites and their Flute. And then next turn, they have to answer this, or they're going to take 11 damage to the face. Next, We have Genesis Dragon, the OG swing 10 on turn 9. It's if they're not watching for it, could be game. But a lot of times people are gonna be watching for it. So, but it is a good way to pressure your opponent. Be like, hey, you have to answer a 10-12 body on board. Next, we're gonna go to the Evo deck. One Bellringer again, dealing with early game aggression. On Evo, you can hit a body for 2 damage, and around like turns, early game, that's usually enough to kill a body. Next, we have 2 Dragon Warrior again on Evo. Hit a body for 3 and then swing into another one. Potential 2 for 1. Next, we have 2 Fortes. Guaranteed 7 damage because it has Storm and Aura. Unless for some ungodly reason they have a non-targeting damage on board that hits for 3. Yeah, kind of doubt it'll happen right now. And then we have 3 Shenlongs because might as well, since I have quite a bit of room on the deck for my Evo deck, and might as well run 3 Shenlongs because the only other option I had was what? A Dragontamer Evo, and no, I'm not gonna do that. Imperial Dragoon Evo. Honestly, this card will never see the light of day, so I only really have it so I have 10 cards on my Evo deck. And in the ungodly reason, I do need to Evo it and pray my top 3 cards would save me. But a lot of times, I really don't need this card. And last, certainly not least, Bahamut. Again, clear out bodies on the board, and then on Evo, clears out amulets. And it's an 11/11 body your opponent has to answer on their turn. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to cry once Shenlong nerf hits, but I'll be fine. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.